Mike's alive.
I do think that trying to find, I mean, never mind Carl Yastrzemski, or Sandy Koufax, trying to find the great Jewish identified fish noodler would be very, very difficult. But boy, it'd be great if he were Orthodox. In the black and
Put it past him.
ascetic. Yeah. Back with the whole thing, noodling.
5,
4.
take it.
Doodly doo, doodly doo doo.
This is Penn Sunday.
Oh, Christ.
Quit having fun doing a show.
All nature sings and round us rings the music of the
Brothers and sisters, welcome to Penn Sunday School, starring Penn Gillette. My name is Michael Godot, and Matt Donnelly and I are broadcasting from the Show Creator Studios here in Las Vegas. We wish all the fathers in the audience a happy Father's Day. Penn performs heart surgery and a discussion of what politics is supposed to be. Here he is preaching love, Mr. Penn Gillette. Ciao.
I am in such a mood to preach the love today. I'm in such a mood. First of all, I feel fairly rested, which I don't think I've been really rested since Nam. It's been a long time, but I get some sleep. And I did a crazy schedule in Georgia, but it ended up making me rested.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy because this last week, we were not doing the big Penn and Teller show, and I went to a place called Ellijay, Georgia, where my father-in-law has a cabin.
Right.
Very Godot area.
Yeah, no, I've been.
What do you mean you've been to Ellijay?
I've been to that part. I've been to that area to go river rafting and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what I did. I was in a tube.
And saw fireflies, lightning bugs, right?
I saw one lightning bug.
Oh, okay.
Or one flash of one lightning bug.
You didn't.
What was that?
I'm sorry you missed that.
That's
the spot.
I grew up with lightning bugs.
Right.
And I also love the fact that you say lightning bugs and not fireflies. Because lightning bugs is a better term.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you say insect repellent or do you say skeeter scoot?
Wait a minute.
We got it too deep there right away. My mother.
I say bug spray.
Bug spray, yeah.
My mother would always say, put on the skeeter scoot. Put on the skeeter scoot.
She's a genius.
Yeah, skeeter scoot's good. I never heard anybody else say it.
Yeah.
If there should be a
I'm going
brand.
to go out and make a brand. Yeah,
Skeeter
this is
scoot.
clearly it.
Do one of those things where they do this thing where they buy up brand names that have fallen out of favor, like Brim Coffee. Mm-hmm. They buy up that.
You say they as if this is like a conspiracy.
No, it's an entrepreneur thing.
Oh, okay.
You buy a brand that existed, then you take your own stuff and just put it in that bottle.
Oh, okay.
So you buy Brim instant coffee, and then you just take your instant coffee and put it in the Brim jar and put it back on, and then people buy it for nostalgia buys, stuff
okay,
like that.
sure.
So Skeeter Scoot, you could just find a bug They do this with liquor too, right? They just you put out like. I don't know if George Clooney actually makes his own liquor, but you put it out in a bottle with your name on it. Now, Bob Dylan, of course. By the way,
Yes.
who has 3 bottles of whiskey in their home? 3 big bottles of whiskey. I've never had any alcohol, aside from vanilla.
Right.
In a
Which
home
you have a problem with. We should talk about.
in a home that I lived in.
Yeah.
Never. That was the whole long story I told in.
Does anything taste as good as vanilla extract smells?
No,
It really doesn't, right?
it really doesn't.
You smell vanilla extract, you're like, this.
Is food.
Yeah. Your brain is like, this would be something you get in your system, and then you eat nothing that tastes like it.
No, never.
It drives me
Maybe what you should be doing is, eating potatoes and spelling vanilla, which, by the way, is the name of my next book. Write down, that's the name of this show, Eating Potatoes and Spelling Vanilla.
Yeah.
Vanilla is a great thing.
Yeah.
And I've often thought, if I was going to become an alcoholic, vanilla might be the way to go.
Oh, God.
Because isn't alcohol very syrupy and awful?
The
Vanilla
second
is.
part's correct. And the first part of vanilla is correct, yeah.
But
Even alcoholics would get sick pretty quickly just drinking vanilla
what
extract.
about Betty Ford? Didn't she drink? She drank like cleaning products, didn't she?
Yeah.
What was she drinking? Mouthwash or something?
That happens, with
sounds
really bad
horrible.
alcoholics, yeah.
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 But not vanilla?
I
all
mean,
right,
I'm
we'll look it up.
sure.
Wouldn't you love to see me on Fremont Street with a cardboard sign and like a huge bottle of vanilla?
Oh, man.
Like a milk jug full of vanilla, just loading it down like that.
I saw Penn stumbling around Fremont Street smelling like a cupcake. I knew we were in trouble.
Killed him.
I knew it was going to be a hard time getting him home.
Yeah, man, he smells like a cupcake.
Oh, man. Bad fucking news.
Boom, 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 boom.
I believe that was our first spit take in 6 years.
It's been a
I had
while.
just taken a little sip of the tea, and I didn't think the word was going to be cupcake. I was waiting for the take on brewery. It was going to be another place like that.
Yeah.
Cupcake just threw me. So I don't even know what I was saying. How did we get onto vanilla?
No, that was me. You said drinking vanilla instead of alcohol in your house.
other than vanilla.
Oh yeah, I've never had any.
And now you have the fancy Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan whiskey.
Did he
great.
make it?
What's that?
How involved is he in the process?
Supposedly,
He welded the whiskey.
it's interesting because the bottles
Yes.
are his welding designs.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. The bottles are beautiful. And the color of the liquid within is beautiful.
Yeah.
Whiskey,
Amber.
I guess, is the liquid within. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of a woodier amber. And there was an article, because of course I read it, from the distiller. I guess that's who that would be, who said he worked with Bob Dylan on it. And they would send Bob samples, and he would call them up and give them his comments. And his comments, one of them they gave was, it should be a little more like being in a big building made of wood. And then they would adjust the taste accordingly.
I have always thought that we should make drinks based on wine descriptions. And so, we're going to make this with a hint of grape and some leather and a little bit of smoke. And we're just going to mix those things together. We'll take liquid smoke and grapes
And stone fruit.
and put some rocks and let it sit in some wood. Those might be great drinks because certainly not wine. That wine does not have hints of leather.
Yeah.
And if it did, I'd slap it.
That's a really great idea.
Wouldn't it be good?
Yeah, this is one of your genius ideas.
I got a lot. I have another new one. I have a new one. How about you didn't have a pill minder?
I got him going.
have a-
I know.
Ralph Cramden's on the
Exactly.
show again.
They have,
You nailed
they
one
have
idea. Now you're just
pill
going right to the
minder.
next
I'm going
one?
right to the next one. I'm going to continue.
You could ride high with knowing you had a good idea.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
No, I don't want to ruin the fun. This one's pretty good though.
There's a guy in Arizona. There's always a guy in Arizona.
Yeah.
You've seen him who's written up stings
Yeah, sure. The bug sting guy.
with the bug sting guy. He's been stung by like
Everything.
every bad insect. And he says, a numbing pain with a hint of
Right.
his descriptions are really great. He writes them. He's been stung.
Tarantula hawk is the one that he says is the worst, right?
No.
Tarantula hawk?
It's a bullet ant. I thought bullet ant was the worst. Tarantula hawk.
I'm understanding
Tarantula hawk,
every
yeah.
word you're saying isolated. Every English word you guys are saying, I understand.
Okay, good. It's just the flow. There's a guy, and I met him.
Yeah.
You met him. I'm looking for his name.
I was on
We'll find him.
I was on a radio program.
Coyote Peterson?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
it?
He's a weird little guy. And
Google weird little guy. See what it comes
Yeah.
up.
who would have thought that a guy that writes a book about what stings of insects feel like would be weird? And he had a jar. He was on NPR, some show like, one of those shows they do on NPR. They do a bunch of shows on NPR. They seem to fill up most of the day. And he had a jar with the worst stinging things, white-faced hornets or something, with him. And he was letting the host look at them and stuff like that. And it was very, very scary. And how could he have them in this auditorium? Everybody was in. And he walked back, and I said, I'll stick my hand in there. I was kind of with a great deal of bravado. And he said, whoa. And I said, because you're lying, it's what, the females that sting? You have all males in there? He went, yeah.
You caught Coyote Peterson in a lie then.
I see. Is it Coyote Peterson?
I think it's Coyote Peterson.
No, it isn't. Coyote Peterson's too cool a name for a
You
guy.
would remember that you met a man named Coyote Peterson, I think.
Well, it says Mountain Lion Jackson, and then that's crossed out and it says Coyote Peterson.
No, it's the guy who wrote the Sting. book.
There's a branding meeting gone wrong.
Anyway, I like that. I like that idea very, very much. The idea of making a drink that would, because this is the problem with me and foodies. All subtlety is lost on me.
Yeah.
You know, there are sweet, salty, spicy, and texture. That's all you have on food for me.
Yeah.
When they talk about hints of stuff and little things, and I can't tell.
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And also, I can solve anything. You know, Bonnie Raitt told me, I met Bonnie Raitt for like 10 minutes, and Bonnie Raitt said to me,
Changed your life.
tell you one thing, if you're going to Russia, bring Tabasco. Thank you, Bonnie.
That's pretty good.
She said if you had Tabasco with you, you could get through Russia, but otherwise.
I worked a circus competition in Budapest, and they had a place where they would feed us, like a little employee cafeteria, and we ate there, and it was the worst food ever.
Did you have
Just awful.
Tabasco with you?
I did not have Tabasco with me, but what I discovered was that the Russians that were in the competition said, "This is the best food we've ever had. This is so good." And so later, when the Bolshoi Circus says, "That was a great show. We'd like to have you come and perform on our show for a couple of months, Mr. Godot," I went, "No fucking way." These guys said this is the best food they've ever had. I'm not going.
But if you brought Tabasco,
Right, if I brought Tabasco. And now that I'm unemployed, yes, of course. If you're at the Bolshoi Circus, call me. I'll bring Tabasco for everyone.
what other good ideas do you have, Godot, besides the making drinks?
You know how there's a pill minder, a big like a plastic thing that has every day? I think we should make a cake minder, and so every day you had this portion of cake. You just know what cake. It's Monday. I'm supposed to have this cake.
Every time
From the maker of leather water.
I think your next idea is going to be okay, you come up with something piss poor like that. There is a store.
I'm gonna change my name.
I mean,
to Coyote Peterson.
it's rare that I travel without leather water. I don't know, but I don't know about this cake thing.
But I'm going to try it because I love the creator.
I have one like the pill
Maybe
minder.
Justin Schmidt.
What's
Is
that?
Justin Schmidt your guy?
Justin Schmidt. Yeah, Justin Schmidt's
All
my
right.
guy.
A shower checklist. Did I,
Shower checklist.
did I
With
wash
a
my
grease
hair
pen.
already?
That's good.
Oh, you have on the wall and you just check it off.
Oh, I hate when I don't know whether or not I washed my hair.
See?
Yeah, there
I
you go.
do hate that feeling.
Good one, ready?
But then I'm the kind of person that won't check the checklist, so I don't think it'll help. Because that feeling only comes when I'm incredibly absent-minded in the shower.
Needless to say, I have a shower regimen that is so tight and perfect that each hand going to each part of my body is the same hand at the same time. I do no improvisation in the shower whatsoever.
Yeah.
No, there's no improvisation.
I was surprised
You're
to find
totally
out-
improv in the shower, right?
No, I think I do the same thing every time
Yeah, I
as
think
well.
so.
But how can you forget if you washed your hair? If you're going to the next step,
Well, if something distracts you, if something happens out of
what
the
happens
ordinary,
in the shower? Out of the ordinary.
the suction cups holding up the soap, that thing gives out all the time. It just
Well, I
drops
don't have
the soap.
that. I have actually
You're-
built-in shelves in my shower.
All right.
Not like a peasant
You,
with your suction cups.
How could you forget if you took your pills, though?
What?
It's the same thing. How could you forget whether you took your pills?
No.
or not?
I have what's called the pill pack, which is a really good.
That's a good thing.
invention.
Yeah, that's a good invention.
Yeah, where I have a little package of pills that says my name, the date, the time that I'm supposed to take these pills, and I rip it off, open it up, suck them down. So, yeah. Pill pack is a
Pill
good
pack's a
invention.
good invention.
You're right. Sometimes I soap my body before I wash my hair, sometimes after.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I know.
Also, you want to wash your hair at the time you most want to clean your fingernails, because it's the same job. That's a guitar player, I think for the Foo Fighters,
Yeah.
said, "If you don't wash your hair, your fingernails are never clean." That was, I think, his argument against shaved heads.
You don't sit in the jacuzzi and poke your fingers into the jets, because that's how I clean my fingernails.
Oh, does it? Does
that works
work?
pretty good.
It
yeah.
works pretty
Yeah.
good too. I don't like jets on in the hot tub.
Okay.
I like my hot tub to be quiet. I
Yeah.
want to be quiet and reading. I don't like that. in the hot tub.
Puts you right to sleep.
No.
That's how Matt's going to die.
It was 20 years ago. It was 20 years
20
ago
years ago
yesterday.
today.
Yeah, 20 years ago yesterday that I had my my is he stupid or is it suicide night. You know about this, right?
Oh, yes.
In the Slammer, my bedroom was right above the garage.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes.
And I was driving a Bronco at that time because I got it after OJ because I thought it was funny. So I had a Bronco that I drove in here in Vegas, and I went into my garage and I was talking on the phone. I think having a little bit of I won't call it an argument, a little bit of trying to defend myself against the onslaught of the particular girlfriend.
Right.
No, that kind of conversation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I get, that kind of conversation. That's my side of the conversation.
Yeah, yeah,
Matter of fact,
yeah.
you can record that and just play that any discussion you're having with someone who claims to love you. And I was on the phone, okay? So I pulled into the garage. I closed the garage door. I held the phone to my ear, and I got out of the car. But I never turned the key. This is back when I
You
was
need a garage checklist.
when my car was gasoline powered
You just parked the car,
and a Bronco.
opened the piece of cake drawer for Saturday.
Because you didn't know what day it was.
And I closed the door to the car.
Yeah.
And then I went in, closed the door to the garage, and I went upstairs and got back on the phone again. No, but maybe we could for a little while. And then I watched a television program, and then I went to sleep. Now here's the part where it gets good. In the middle of the night, I woke up and went, "Is that like bug spray or paint or what is it?"
Or
They must be-
Ziggle Zaggle? What was your mom called?
Skeeter scoot.
Skeeter Scooter. Was
Not
it?
ziggle zaggle. Skeeter.
Ziggle Zaggle is an inferior product.
Go.
Skeeter Scooter is.
No, Skeeter scoot. It's go away mosquito. Hey, scoot mosquito.
Oh, Skeeter Scoot.
Skeeter scoot.
Oh, I thought it was just nonsense
No,
words.
it's not nonsense
Not
words.
even close.
This is not Ulysses.
But why not Skeeter Scooter?
Even though Bloomsday went by, this is not.
No, that reference, Dennis Miller.
Hey, babe, it's kind of a Kiwanis Scotsy Beverly Hillbillies thing. You asshole. Cha cha cha. It's kind of like if Thomas Pynchon wrote the dating game.
No one loves your Dennis Miller more than me, I don't think.
And it's getting better, by the way.
Thanks,
I,
thanks, babe.
Now that he's on podcast one, it's great because he comes around. He comes up more often.
I don't know if this whole Kahneman thing on The Bachelor is happening at all. Kind of like a wine. Never mind. Skeeter scoot. Anyway, where was I? Any idea?
You were smelling
Yes.
what should
so
be.
I smelled this
the
smell
Skeeter Scoot.
that was a dangerous, awful smell.
Yeah.
This in the middle of the night. So I got up, and my solution was not to try to find where the smell was coming from, but to take a bath. So I took a nice bath, which knocked me out. And all of a sudden, I went, "Oh, this is good. I feel really drowsy." So I went back to bed. And I slept like another 6 hours, like the longest, most comfortable sleep, and then got up and started coughing. And I was hacking up black garbage
Jesus.
out of my lungs. And then I went, "Boy, that's a weird smell from outside." So I opened the door, and the smell was not outside. And I thought, "Man, that's weird. That's weird. The smell isn't outside. It's just in my bedroom." And then I said, "I'm really tired. I might go back to sleep." But I had something to do. I had to call Teller or something. So I got up and I walked around, and I was staggering, and I was coughing, and I was choking. And I went down by the garage, and I touched the door, and it burned my hand. It burned my hand on the garage door.
Wow.
So I kicked it open, and this huge amount of smoke came out. And I went, "Oh, that's the smell." And the light switch had
I
melted
went back to bed.
on the inside of the garage, right? Melted. And I walked by the Bronco and touched my leg against the fender, and it gave me a burn. So then I took my shirt off, because what else would you do, and held it over the
Door handle.
door handle and opened it up, and part of the instrument panel on the car had melted. And I reached in and turned the key, and then ran out of the garage and was coughing and choking. And then I was reading in my journal that for the next 2 days, I wasn't right. It was like I was on a cupcake
Oh my
bench.
God.
And I thought about how close I came to dying. And what it really made me laugh was the idea that if there were some sort of, there would be some sort of memorial for me.
Yeah.
And my friends would be there together. I was picturing the argument and then who would be on which side of you going, I don't know which side would you be on, of you saying to Godot, no, he seemed like he was in a good mood, but I think he was really depressed. And Godot going, no, he was that stupid.
Yeah.
He get out of the car and left his car on. And you saying, no, he wasn't. He's not that stupid.
No one's
he
that
is stupid, but he's not that stupid.
Yeah.
He was a little depressed. And Godot going, no, not depressed, stupid. Which side would you come down on?
I think I would have gone with stupidity.
Yeah,
Godot?
absolutely stupidity. Yeah,
It's not like that you were.
Drew gun? Stupidity? Ready? Stupidity? Jera? Suicide. Good.
There you
Jera
go.
would have been going, no, he was depressed.
Stop it.
And they would be saying, Jared, do you know what a stupid motherfucker he is?
Because only, to say that you're incredibly stupid is not accurate. I'm about to tell a story about Einstein, which to compare you to him is also not accurate.
Now you're stupid too.
But apparently Einstein.
Cake a day?
Yeah, don't you think? It's a good idea. Cake minder.
Cake binder.
You'll be shopping for one later. You know it.
Or someone would get it for you for your gift and be like, "It's a cake binder."
Yeah.
You'd be like, "Thank
I
you
thought
so
you would
much."
like that because you like cake and you like finding things.
I just want to make sure you have a piece of fresh cake every day of the
How is it fresh if you put it in the minder?
Tupperware. It's exactly like the cake, the pill minders. It's Tupperware. The top clicks down.
Yeah, but that won't keep cake for a week.
Oh yeah, well,
Not a week.
we'll have to work on
You
this.
got stale cake after a week.
No.
Oh, it's Sunday, stale cake day. the seventh cake day.
And on the seventh day, we had shitty cake.
But apparently Einstein couldn't pay a check.
Right.
Like if he was at a cafe or whatever, they'd be like, just
Because he was cheap. I did that joke differently than you might have done it 10 years ago.
But he apparently would just hold up money and be like, I don't know, just how does this happen? So you are such an your brain, you go to different crazy places all the time. So the argument that you absentmindedly didn't turn your car off and went to bed is absolutely, I think, within reason as to how you operate.
I was talking about doing acid and getting my soul psychedelicized.
Yes.
And a friend of mine said that many of the attributes that you get from doing acid, I just have naturally. I foolishly took that as a compliment.
Yes.
But so I was out in Georgia,
Yeah.
and it was beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's beautiful there.
Very hard to get there because I had to commute
There's a lot of driving.
to Atlanta,
Atlanta and then drive.
and it was
yeah.
2.5 hours. So I wasn't going to drive. I had a driver come, but the driver couldn't get to where I was. The GPS didn't work nor the phone. So I had to take in. My father-in-law had to drive me in a ATV, all-terrain vehicle.
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
ATV. Had to drive me. Well, actually, it's just a riding lawnmower.
Yeah.
It's so loud. He had to drive me 20 minutes, which would have been faster if it had been an actual vehicle. To the guy. So I'm driving an ATV to a limo to get to Atlanta to speak for this great company called LlamaSoft.
Llama Soft.
Yeah, they do software that does things. And here was the bill. Okay, here was the bill for their conference. Nobel laureate Dr. Daniel Kahneman, or Kahneman is the way he really says it. I put an E in there because I don't want to call him a con man. But Kahneman is what
But
it
he's
is.
okay with that.
He is. Nobel laureate Dr. Daniel Kahneman. He spoke for an hour.
yeah.
Then the guy who mapped the human genome, he spoke for an hour.
Can that guy pay a check?
And then me.
Right.
Then me. I was batting clean.
What was the order? You were last? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I was following. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the Nobel laureate and the other genius. Now it's me, which was essentially the first line I said.
Right.
Why am I here? I said.
Yeah.
Maybe because the other two didn't say motherfucker during their presentation. Maybe that's why I was there. And I talked about the Ramones. And I promised long ago that I would never make a joke about David Copperfield again.
Yes,
He's
you
a
did.
friend of mine.
Many times.
And there's things that I've said about him that aren't fair. He's a good guy. We like David Copperfield. But I made it. And I was saying to myself.
Are you ready for the phone call? Because there's a phone call involved in this.
So anyway, I was speaking at the conference, and I was speaking after them. Then I had to go back to Ella J, Georgia, where the lightning bugs are. And I sat on the back porch and looked at the river. And then I went tubing. I actually went
the
tubing.
Tubing spot, yeah.
Yeah, and we did synchronized tubing. I was able to move the children from one side to the other and go along. But it wasn't any sort of the thing you would do. It wasn't extreme sport.
No, I know.
It was
But
just
I was just tubing there last year. This probably the same date.
floating.
Yeah, just floating down the river with my family.
It's nice.
It's really nice.
It's really nice. And I find, I meditate every day, trying to get my soul
You could combine
psychedelicized.
tubing and meditating, and it would be really
And I
good.
find that you're looking for flow, where you lose the ego, lose the I.
Yeah.
Not like Sammy Davis Jr. lose the I.
Yeah.
But like
That's not meditation.
So I couldn't think of a contemporary one-eyed person. Is there a famous one-eyed person? Is it possible we finally reached a generation we don't have a famous one-eyed person? We had Sammy Davis Jr., right?
Yeah.
We had the guy from Ron Sawyer from Dr. Hook. and
Sandy
Middle.
Duncan, I thought.
Sandy Duncan.
She's dead.
It's not my fault.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have not a first of all, we don't have really a famous ventriloquist
We're
right now.
probably better at hiding it.
Yeah,
We've
maybe-
done him. Dunham is pretty famous.
Yeah, we have done them.
He's got a lot of series.
Well,
lot of specials.
here's our plan. Every generation needs to have a famous ventriloquist and a one-eyed person, so you can make the proper jokes. I think we take what's his name here in town, the ventriloquist,
Terry Fader.
Terry Fader. I think we get Terry Fader and we pluck his eye out. And then he can be the most famous ventriloquist and a one-eyed guy. We want to do a one-eyed
What if we
joke.
also give him one horn
Why?
and only feed him purple people?
yeah. I think that would work.
I have to tell you that this search engine, I put in famous one-eyed person, and all it brought up was bikini models. I'm using the wrong search engine.
No, that
Or
you're
the right
using
one.
That is the right search engine.
All this time, I thought it was the people eater that was purple.
I made a choice. It was the faster joke was to feed them purple people. Otherwise, I would have had to paint them purple. It would have lengthened the joke.
Yeah, that's good. Anyway, I wish our culture had a one-eyed guy. I really wish it did.
We're probably better at hiding it.
You think so? Or
I
maybe fewer people have one eye.
It could be that as well.
Or one eye at most. Fewer people have. Because a lot of people have one eye or more.
Well, even when the glass eye came around at all, if you're in the eye patch business, you got to be upset. Like this is a fine market I have.
Now you have only one day a year, Halloween, that you can sell them.
That's it. You basically become like an accountant on tax day.
Might as well have a cake miner.
Well, my father-in-law is a GI, gastroenterologist. That's not the right second word.
Enterologist.
Enterologist. But he was hoping that he's finishing up his last day. He's selling his business.
Selling his practice?
Yeah, and he was hoping to be able to do the joke of someone swallowing a glass eye before that, and do a colonoscopy where you could see on the screen an actual eye looking back at him. But finding a guy to swallow a glass eye, it's a lot of work.
Really?
How much? How much?
Are you paying for the surgery as well? Does it cover the surgery?
I don't
would
think. I think swallowing a glass eye is hard. I think you choke
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't you? It's hard to get.
$1,500? I don't know. It's probably smooth.
Yeah, but I think it would stick. in
Glass
your
of
throat.
water? I don't know.
No, I don't think you can swallow a glass
All right.
eye. Also, children, listen to this show. Don't be swallowing your glass eyes. But if you only have one eye, let us know. We'll work on making you famous.
That's true.
That's what we need. So are we doing the podcast?
Yeah,
one?
let's do the podcast one survey and then the,
You could help our podcast stay free to download with minimal ads. The response will help align the appropriate advertisers and their audience. Survey is short and completely anonymous. Don't you want to take a survey? Do you like to take surveys?
I love them.
Yeah.
Makes me so happy.
The one thing I don't take a survey on is Clear. You know the Clear, the airport people?
Yeah.
Every time I fly Clear, they send me a little thing saying, fill out this survey. I say, fuck you. But I feel like other surveys. 2 ways to begin the survey. It's less than 5 minutes. That's not bad. Go to www, or 6U, as we say, podcast1.com/mysurvey. You can go there. Or you go to www.podcast1.com and click on the survey banner.
And it's spelling one, O-N-E.
O-N-E, yeah. That's important. If you filled the survey out in the past, we thank you, but we still need you to do it again. You just go there, put in Penn Sunday School. Penn Sunday School, the podcast, one a huge favor if you fill that out. And, oh boy, you know, every time I see the logo at the top of this piece of paper, I get so happy.
Oh, yeah.
If there's one thing that Penn Sunday School has brought to us, it's a special sound.
I am about to join you.
I know.
You silver-tongued bastard.
Oh,
You've convinced Matt.
You've heard me talk about my Sleep Number bed and how much it's improved my sleep, which it has. You know, now Sleep Number's done it again. I was in LJ at this beautiful cabin that we rented near my father-in-law, and location, and dark, beautiful woods, sound of a babbling river. You can have a babbling river. It doesn't have to be a babbling brook. It doesn't have to be alliteration. A babbling river going by outside, sounds of crickets and stuff, just beautiful.
Frogs.
Perfect sleep environment. Air was beautiful. Everything was great. Still happy to get back to Vegas in my Sleep Number bed. Sleep Number bed is really, really good. If you know someone who struggles to sleep at a comfortable temperature, the all-new dual temp individual layer is an innovation you've been waiting for. So now you can control the temperature and the firmness of your side of the mattress different from your spouse or friend or a stranger that you're sleeping with. Cooler or warmer, you decide. Just add dual temp layer to either side of the bed and sleep up to 35% cooler or warmer. The dual temp layer can be added to any mattress brand. It doesn't have to be a Sleep Number bed. Select from multiple temperature levels at the touch of a button. Boy, being able to control the temperature of your bed seems like a
That
really
seems
good
really
thing.
good.
Much better than Cake Minder. I turned my softness down. I turned my softness up and my firmness down.
Okay.
I just did that recently. I like that. And it also, of course, has Sleep IQ.
Sleep IQ.
Finally, a blissful cooling comfort you deserve at a comfortable price. Come in and feel the temperature difference for yourself. You'll only find the dual temp layer at sleepnumber.com or any of the 550 Sleep Number stores nationwide. Visit sleepnumber.com/Penn to find a store near you. Sleep IQ. So this is kind of a big deal. Did we finish whatever we were talking about? I guess we kind of have.
So the joke I did not make was
Okay.
when you said, "Do you like filling out surveys?" Because I know you have to send the ads to the ad people. Was absolutely. Whenever one comes up from Cambridge Analytica, I fill it right out.
Boy, I want to know why, and I know there's a difference. I know there is, but I need to do more research to find out why Obama targeting ads was a genius and why Cambridge Analytica targeting ads was evil. There's a difference somewhere. I don't know what it is.
I think that
They did Friends of Friends. Is that the difference?
Yeah, they did Friends of Friends, and also that they said that they were conducting an education. They lied
Okay.
about the
Yeah. Well,
about
that's a big deal.
the business they were doing.
That's a big deal. But I don't mind people doing targeted ads. I don't mind. I don't care if fake news comes to me or whatever comes to me. I'm such a free speech nut. I don't care if Russia sends me an ad that's targeted and not true. I think that's part of what you have to deal with to live in a free society is you have to have nonsense come in there. I mean, I get crystal healing shit. I know that's not true.
I was wondering, your pores look cleaner.
They do. They do look cleaner.
There's that scene in Minority Report where he's at the mall, and everything in the mall is talking to him directly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's painted in that movie like a nightmare.
That
Like
just
a-
seems
like-
so much better. Yeah.
Like a dystopian, horrible thing. And I couldn't think of anything better for advertising.
Yes, I don't want, if they didn't do any liquor ads to me and they just did ads and stuff I'm interested in, I
Yeah.
actually, once in a while, Facebook does hit something I'm interested in. And if it were better, that would be good.
Actually, something that drives me crazy is that I'm sometimes thankful for a targeted ad so much so that I buy it right away, and they continue to be targeted for a week.
Well,
and I'm like,
no matter
no,
what you do.
I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish there was I already
3
bought
weeks
it.
later,
button.
yeah.
Like, I love your product. Stop! You're wasting your money on me. I bought it already.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah. And then do you like the products at the time?
Yeah.
What'd you buy that way?
I bought the wallet that I use that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which I guess they never came through as an advertiser. So I'll just say it's one of those cool wallets with the thumb thing. So
Oh,
it's-
yeah.
It's just two bands that hold all my credit cards together.
Oh, that's good.
And there's a band that holds the money on the outside, or a money clip that holds the money on the outside.
Does it hold other people's credit cards too?
It holds other people's credit cards, yeah. Which is
Yours is
very
still
helpful.
giant. Even with the Super Magic Slim wallet, yours is still.
That's exactly it. And I've been vetted. I had
really?
This came up on a double date, and I let my wallet out. My wife went through everything in my wallet in front of a double date, and it all checked out. That I need to actually walk around with everything in my wallet. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. I would always think. I'm thinking maybe I can get down to fewer and fewer.
I want to so badly. It's one of my largest goals in life.
when I go to a doctor, okay.
Yeah.
They ask me for my health insurance information.
Right.
I don't know why I said health insurance.
Health.
I'm going to say it like that from now on.
Scoot.
Health insurance. I hand them like 15 things. Here, you sort through.
Yes.
Which is your primary? I don't know. How much insurance do you have? Plenty.
Right.
Yeah, covered. Oh, I got to brag about something. When I was in Georgia, was I happy about this? There is I don't like to play games, but with my family, I will do it, right? And my family loves playing games. My father-in-law, my wife, my children, they love games. And they buy every shitty game they see at like Walmart.
I have closets full of games at my house.
But they bought this thing called Scattergories or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they
got it.
give you a category of something, right? And you roll the die, and it tells you a letter, and then you have to
Right.
teams come up with the best thing, 3 of things that have that letter, right? Get this, I got you talk your Einstein. I don't think Einstein would have done this. It said stones or precious gems. W. I said Watts, Woods, Wyman. Watts, Wood, Wyman. 3 of the stones, their names begin with W.
Yeah.
3 of the stones. And stones that were in the stones at the same time. I didn't go to Nicky Hopkins. I didn't do any of that. No Brian Jones.
No.
I did. How great is that? Charlie Watts, Bill Wyman, Ronnie Wood, all in the Stones, all with a W in the category.
Perfect
And I
joke.
was so upset that the rest of the family did not throw a parade.
Exactly. Just pick you up and carry you around the house.
Now it's time. Tomorrow we're going to build a statue to Dad because he came up with 3 stones that begin with a W.
Go ahead, Z. Get out the blueprints. We've been holding off on this for a while.
But now it's time
Lay it
for
out.
the Dad statue.
Get
Stones.
the chainsaws.
It said stones. Stones. How great is that?
It can't be said how great it is. There are no words.
Thank you.
There's probably not another letter that would work even.
Yeah.
No.
Like whatever the opposite words are for a cake binder, those are the words I bestow to you.
I mean, you could do Ron for Ron Wood, Richards for Keith Richards,
Yeah.
and then you're stuck.
Yeah.
You don't have another R. I think. I think I probably used up all the luck for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Then I
That may have proved the existence
then I
of a
just
higher being. Right
then I just
there.
argue
That's-
for Rick Jagger, and I smack the phones at everyone's hands as they pull it out to look it up.
You've just always been wrong.
You know, Rick Jagger. And then you shake your finger and pout your lips up and go, Rick Jagger. We all know Rick Jagger.
Start me up. Come on, Rick Jagger.
And you have the hand on your hip and
Yeah.
you prance
Yeah.
all around the table in LJ. Rick Jagger.
You all know who I'm talking about, right? Then why are you looking
I
up?
can't give me no.
Yeah, I think you know who I'm talking about is the perfect argument. You know exactly who I'm talking about. You don't need to look it up.
Okay, so there probably is a guy who sings named Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
But the one I was talking about was Rick Jagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Also, if he were Mick Jagger, he'd call himself Mike.
Yeah.
It would be Mike Jagger. But Rick Jagger would not go with Dick or Richard. He'd be Rick Jagger.
By the way, former British Prime Minister Gordon Brown apparently has one eye.
There you go.
I don't know if that comes close enough to fit our standards for we need a contemporary person.
Very close.
Very close.
Very close. I would think that what's the guy from Anchorman?
Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell could lose an eye and do a lot of good for a lot of people.
Yeah. He had that car accident. We could have just said he lost an eye
He
there.
doesn't need 3D vision. What does Will Ferrell do? that needs
Exactly.
3D
He's not
vision?
playing ball.
This is also, it's 2018. We can just say Will Ferrell's a glass eye, and that'll just take on life forever without us we wouldn't be able to stop it
Posted
if we
on
tried.
Facebook.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to stop it if we tried.
How expensive is Will Ferrell's glass eye? It was made specially to match. Most of them are done
Right.
by shitty. He was 3D modeled.
Right.
And his eye, they got pictures of him before he lost the eye and matched it exactly. This is the most
they-
perfect glass eye. You know how much he spent on that glass eye? Yeah. It was $95,000 he spent for just a glass eye. That's how rich he
if
is.
you
But
hear any plans about Anchorman 3 or Step Brothers 3, know that it's because of
He had to pay for the
his
eye.
glass
Sure,
eye.
sure.
Yeah.
He put a lot of money in that
It's a glass eye movie.
Yeah, it's a glass eye movie. Yeah, Will Ferrell's glass eye. Will Ferrell's the guy I want to have one eye. And I want to have a very, very expensive glass eye. Very expensive. Very expensive. So who are the celebrities who've had back surgery and are going to get their fourth and fifth vertebrae fused? Who are the most famous guy for that? Teller. Teller's had a week back. How long? When that
About
start?
7 days ago.
About 7 days ago. About a week back. And is back.
I would not have properly set you up for that. It took me too long to get it.
Teller, as you might have noticed, those who visited the Penn and Teller show,
Yeah.
that fewer things with Teller crawling around in a box past 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Because those would be accompanied by the silent member of the group screaming in agony.
Yeah.
Teller's back's been bad, really bad. And I know back surgery is bullshit, but Teller, when you talk about a second opinion,
Yeah.
Teller's on his 7th opinion.
Okay.
You know, from all the top doctors. As a matter of fact, part of what hurt his back was flying to Chicago for another opinion on his back. He is so careful about this.
Yeah.
Physical therapist, and one of the best back doctors around is his name cannot be David Duke because that's a Klan member, right?
Yes.
But his name is something Duke. Great Daniel Duke. Rick Duke.
Rick Duke. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, stop looking up.
If you don't, stop Googling.
Sorry, I know who he is.
He's a great back doctor, and the surgery that Teller's having is the rate of success is great, and it's not life-threatening. It's but the big deal is Penn and Teller have not taken more than 4 days legitimately off in 43 years.
Wow.
Okay, we just haven't. 7 days. I did Celebrity Apprentice, which went longer, but that we don't call that time off. And Teller was working during that. But we haven't had downtime. Now, only Penn and Teller could call back surgery a vacation.
Right.
But Teller goes
And only
in,
half of it.
Yeah.
and I'm going to get a lot of tweets saying, Penn, why'd you ruin our honeymoon? We had tickets. You know, we get those tweets, which I'm very flattered by.
Yeah.
That someone says they bought tickets and they're very disappointed. We have a note from a doctor that says we cannot do shows for 5 weeks. We will do a show on July 9th.
Yeah.
If you want to see the last Penn and Teller show ever, with Teller's fourth and fifth vertebrae able to move. That's the show you want to see. And there'll be somebody doing this, I hope.
Yeah.
If you want to see the first show with Teller's back fused, you go August 18th
Okay.
and you see that. But the 10th to the 18th, Penn and Teller will be dark. Okay? So Teller's getting surgery. And you know
10th of July till August 18th.
Yep.
Right, okay.
For 5 weeks. 5 weeks. And there might be some work in there in terms of writing. But during that 5 weeks, I have a plan
Oh, boy.
for what I'm going to do.
You're going to fuse
Because-
your back in solidarity.
Very close. You know, the two of us have a kind of a competition thing,
Yes.
and that each one of us has to be tougher than the other.
Yes.
And if I go on with a broken foot,
Yeah.
Teller's going to go on with a broken leg.
Yeah.
So Teller is getting this fused up. There's about a time, and we cannot perform. So I now have, for the first time, 5 weeks. And on top of that, this is important, my family my son and daughter are at camp. And my wife is doing whatever my wife does. We don't know what that is.
We don't.
She goes and stays in houses in Michigan, plays golf.
Last time I asked her, I woke up somewhere else, and I don't remember asking her.
Exactly. I don't know what she's doing. She could be donating a kidney.
Yeah.
She could be trafficking in kiddie porn. I don't know.
Yeah.
She would do anything at all. I get a.
Which, by the way, I'm in the market for either, so if she's out there.
I get a text or an email from her. Very nice. Every morning, every night, very kind, very loving. But I don't know where she is or what she's doing.
Okay.
And I'm always here working. But during this time, I'll be doing something else. And we'll talk about that on Wednesday.
Whoa, tease.
Because that was Penn Sunday School. That was like professional.
That's a legit tease.
Cha-cha-cha.
You're doing it at the end, not before a commercial. You're doing it at the end of an episode.
You become naked.
Oh, it's almost cruel.
And I'll give you a big hint. Cray Ray is involved.
Oh, no.
Cray Ray is up to his neck in this crazy idea. And Cray Ray said himself, Cray Ray said, you know, this is a lot more intense and a much bigger life change than the thing you did when you were 60 and lost 100 pounds. And even after this event, I'll still love you.
Yeah. I mean, we get to find out right away because we're recording Wednesday's episode right away, but you listening to this right now, I'm so sorry. You really have to wait.
I know. It's like having your cake minder in a closet.
And don't we have a lot? Some people are listening live.
I know. That'll be fun.
Those people will know.
Let's start again. Go just.
I found two. One I knew, Bushwick Bill, is a rapper from the Ghetto Boys
Oh, good, good,
from
good.
my era.
Bushwick Bill.
And then the other one is a rapper from the modern era, whose name I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, Fetty Wap or Fetty Wap. Do you know this one?
I have kids.
What's the name?
Fetty Wap.
Fetty Wap.
Fetty Wap. Fetty Wap has one eye. Fetty Wap has one eye.
What are we
Oh, dear
billboarding for this one?
Eliza,
We're not
dear
going to do
Eliza.
Father's Day again. We didn't talk any
We didn't-
Father's Day.
no,
We
we'll
didn't any
talk-
Father's Day.
We got to talk about Father's Day. We will do that.
When you said donating kidney or kitty porn, all I heard was kidney porn.
Kitty porn.
Kidney
I'm
porn.
like, I want to see that. I don't know what that is.
Stand by for episode 2, everybody.
Okay, let's go.
Give me all your plant-based protein.
This is Penn Sunday School.
Cha-cha-cha.
And to our
Oh, it's not right. That wasn't the end.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to Penn Sunday School, starring Penn Jillette. My name is Mike Lideau. Matt Donnelly is here. We are broadcasting from the Show Creator Studios in Las Vegas. We were supposed to talk about our fathers on Father's Day, but we didn't get to it, like most sons. We'll try now. Penn performs heart surgery and a discussion of what politics is supposed to be. Here he is, preaching love, Mr. Penn Jillette.
Well, by the way, we're not going to get any of that.
None of that, no.
No, let's do the fathers thing. You two, your fathers are still alive.
They are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what did
Couldn't
you
be
do for them
happier.
for Father's Day?
A phone call and a Skype call for my children.
Yep, that's it. Phone call and got the kids
Not
on.
a tie.
and-
Not a tie.
No.
I'm doing a couple of big things.
Dad is retired. He doesn't work.
It's my dad's big birthday this year,
How old is he going to be?
80.
Wow.
What? Oh.
And so we are going to July.
80 hookers.
We're going to
Traditional present.
10 a day, 8 days.
And you
Supervised.
know what you got? You got a hooker minder. It's Tupperware, so they stay fresh.
Supervised by Cray Ray. So we, no, July, first week of July, we're all, the family reunion, we're at a big cabin. There's whitewater rafting and that kind of stuff.
Where was the cabin?
It's in Maryland, Western Maryland.
This is the
Should
same
have
as
talked
me
to
in
us because
Georgia.
Georgia
Yes.
was really the place.
Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah, we're getting 2 cabins out in the woods, and the whole, all of us children are getting together.
Wow.
Yeah,
That'll be
That's
great.
a lot of Donnellys.
it's a lot. It is. It's 2 houses worth of Donnelly.
That is a lot of stumbling, angry incompetence in one geographical area.
The amount of the roads will be torn up by all of our knuckles dragging on the ground. Yeah, so he's got 6 children, and then I think 9 grandchildren. They'll all be there.
And heavily male, right? When you're
Yes. We're mostly a male bunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be doing that. And then later this year, he's a big horse race guy. Horse racing guy.
He's not a jockey.
He's a jockey. He's an 80-year-old lawyer jockey who solves crime.
And big, like you said, he's big.
Only horse
the
murders.
tallest.
Yeah, he's the tallest
jockey
jockey
ever.
Yeah, he's a 6-foot jockey
80-year-old lawyer jockey
who still has dreams of the Kentucky Derby. No, there's 2 famous horse tracks out in Lexington. And
He bets on horses.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And he worked on horse
I
farms
think
as a
that's a
kid.
horse. I'll bet you it is.
Never loses a dime. So he.
It depends on exactly what your definition of horse is,
That's right.
Donnelly.
We're gonna have to hoof print him.
This is a depiction of a horse, a statue of a horse.
Yeah.
Do you call that a horse? Well, solicitor. He's a lawyer, right? He could argue.
He is a lawyer. Yeah.
I remember that Jason Garfield, crazy Jason Garfield,
Yeah.
and my wife had a 3-day extended argument over whether a toy truck could be called a truck.
Wow. He's not that type of lawyer.
He's a lawyer like, did he actually kill 3 people and piss on their remains?
Yes, and if so, what's the actual justifiable punishment for
Yeah,
this?
exactly.
But he's used to go up to Saratoga, but he's never been to Churchill Downs or Keeneland, which are 2 very famous horse tracks in Kentucky. And we did an event down in Lexington. We met a friend who has access to these tracks. So in October, there's one weekend where this gentleman's company's horses race at both tracks. So we're going in October to see both those horse tracks.
You know Carl Ballantine, very, very funny magician, who was on the Ed Sullivan Show a lot. All his daughters are named after racetracks. They're Saratoga. They're like Sarah Bell.
Oh yeah. That's fun.
He liked it. He liked it.
Yeah.
Now here's what I want to talk about holding hands with your father.
Okay.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
When you were 12 years old, were you overtly and publicly affectionate with your father?
I believe I was.
You were. You held hands?
Yes.
You would walk through a mall and hold hands with your dad at 12 years old.
Maybe not at 12. I don't know. I don't remember.
Now, your son,
Yes.
hold hands with you?
Still, yes.
Still.
Yes.
And with your dad when you were 12 or 13?
No, I would not have.
You would not have.
No.
I was very affectionate with my dad. My dad was
Yeah.
a wonderful dad, but I remember that I wouldn't have held his hand after like the age of 10.
Someone even just brought this notion up one to me when I first had kids that like there's a time where they will stop holding your hands across the street, and that put me in a bad mood for like a long time. I was like, I did not even think about that. You think about these last times.
Now
they
your
do
sons,
things like
BJ,
that.
are how old?
18 and 13. They're coming tonight.
Did they stop holding hands with you at a certain point?
My 13-year-old is very affectionate. I don't think he's held my hand in a while, but he's a hugger.
At for those of you who don't have access to BJ's microphone, it's 18 and 13. 13-year-old is affectionate. Not necessarily holding hands, but a generally affectionate kid.
And when you were a child, Red, did you hold hands with your dad?
No.
Okay. Is there more to say about that, or?
Well, we've had the conversation before. I don't trust any memories before I was diagnosed.
All right. Okay.
So that's probably wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Because my son is 12 and very, very affectionate, hugging, holding hands in public and no problem. And I think there's a society change that's happened. I think, and I give credit to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think the Red Hot Chili Peppers made physical affection. At least they came in with a couple of songs about that.
Yeah.
It seems to be a change now that's much more okay than it was when I was a child. And I'm very, very glad about it. I mean, I don't know, Z may stop soon,
Yeah.
but there's no indication that's near that. And he's already, he's already the height of my wife. He's 12 and he's 5'5", 5'6".
Wow.
He's a big guy, and I love it. I love
You can
it.
now stand in for Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And except I don't think he's that crazy. We're working on it.
Give him time.
But Tom Cruise crazy is a whole other level.
Yeah.
I should clarify the memory because I don't think the logic followed there. My memory is in kindergarten, they made everybody hold hands when they go outside.
Huh?
And I was very uncomfortable with it. I don't think I held anybody's hand after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Kindergarten. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that physical. Well, I'm from New England.
Right. Yeah.
And but I don't remember my dad ever being uncomfortable. I think it all started with me. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember horribly uncomfortable. I just remember it stopping. When I picture being with my dad, I don't, or my mom. I don't picture holding hands after about 10 or so.
The stereotype would be that like kids don't want to look bad in front of their friends, being affectionate with their parents,
Yeah,
dropping them off and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Kisses goodbye, those things
Yeah.
like that.
But I don't know.
These thoughts frighten me as my kids age.
I hope that's
My
changing.
kid will hold hands in the mall with me any day,
That's-
and often does.
That's
Even on-
wonderful, right?
Yeah, it is nice.
Even on Wednesday cake day.
Even on Wednesday cake day, yeah.
And what's
Sunday cake? He's still holding hands.
that's spice cake, right?
So he's eating that stale cake and just being like, I still love my dad.
Speaking of stale cake, I think my blood pressure. We started this journey, Godot and I together with Cray Ray, and everybody. BJ here in the room with us has been on the journey with us. I lost over 100 pounds,
Yep.
and my blood pressure improved tremendously, and I got on many fewer drugs. But even on my drugs, and even with very little salt in my diet and very careful eating, after 55 years of eating badly,
Right.
I still have high blood pressure. When I go in to give blood or something, my blood pressure is always a bit high, like over 150. That's way
Wow,
high.
that's high.
Wow.
High. And that's also stroke thing. And they have said to me many times that if I were able to do a medical water fast, by water fast, I don't mean not drinking water,
Right.
drinking nothing but water, that my blood pressure would probably be knocked out and go right to okay, and then stay on my diet and do okay. I have said to Cray Ray, I can't do a fast because there's no time that I'm not going to be working
Right.
and my family's not going to be around.
Yeah.
Now, Teller gets surgery, and my family won't be around. So I have the opportunity to do a serious water
So
only
you
fast.
still have the opportunity. It's still a decision you're going to make. So you could still go with putting your own eye out.
I could go with
You
that.
could be the famous one-eyed guy.
If Will Ferrell is willing to do it. But I'm a juggler still, and I use my 3D vision, also for getting fruit when I'm climbing the trees. Also, crazy Michael Pollan,
Yeah.
great writer, has written a book called Changing Your Mind, which I have, but I have not read. Sam Harris has been pushed me years ago to meditate, and I've now meditated 890 days in a row. I've not missed a day for 890 days, and I like the meditation. So, as you know, Sam Harris loves his LSD.
Yeah.
Man, does he dig his LSD. And he digs his silent retreats, and he digs his meditation. And he's always looking, to quote the Isley Brothers, for his soul to be psychedelicized. Love that phrase. I met, through Cray Ray, I met Michael Clapper, who's one of the big fasting guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
medical doctor. So when I heard Teller was going to get his back surgery, and I heard I was going to take time off, someone pointed out to me that it never crossed my mind that I would go someplace beautiful for those 5 weeks, go and take a vacation or do something.
Yes.
All I thought about was I'm either going to do an intense medical fast or I'm going to find something work to do. Never crossed my mind. It's really funny because I've been thinking about this now. I've known we're probably going to do this for a month.
Yeah.
And never crossed my mind, I'll do something fun or I'll go visit friends or something. Just, can I do something rigorous, intense, and stupid?
Yeah.
So rigorous, intense, and stupid we've got. Now, I'm going to talk about fasting a little bit now. I want to reiterate what I said at the beginning of my book, Presto. By the way, 692 people have lost 32,597 pounds. I said at the beginning of my book, Presto, If you take medical advice from a Las Vegas magician, you are an asshole and you deserve to die. If you take fasting medical information from a Las Vegas magician, worse, even worse than that. Now, the idea is that I will not eat. I will just have water. It'll be a water-only fast. And Clapper thinks that in about 14 days, my blood pressure should be down where it should be. And it should stay there without meds. Now, I don't know if y'all know how intense extended medical fasts are. They're pretty intense. And here's the part about it that made my wife say, I'm not going to come back and visit you during the fast. You're not allowed any toothpaste or mouthwash. You brush your teeth, but with just water. On top of that, since the biggest danger during fasting is passing out, and since most passing out is done getting out of the bathtub or being in a hot shower, you're not allowed to shower or bathe. So it'll be 2, maybe 3 weeks that I will be not eating anything, not brushing my teeth with toothpaste, not using mouthwash, and not showering. Now, I'm allowed to take sponge baths, okay? I need to have a nurse. I was going to do it in a facility, but even I'm not crazy enough to want to spend 3 weeks off in essentially a hospital environment.
Right.
And so I'm going to stay home, but I will have a nurse come by every day, and I'm trying to find one who will do it topless.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter gender, but I'd like topless.
Yeah.
And I will have a doctor, Dr. Clapper himself, with me for a lot of this. Okay, so I will have a lot of medical supervision.
Now, you sent me a lecture. I watched a lecture on this. It was fascinating. I just want to interject here only because the doctor supervision thing is legit. In that, like, for anyone who even possibly might think about doing this without a doctor, is that there are things that can go wrong doing these things.
Very specific things the doctors do.
You are very fine fasting on your own with no supervision for 3 days.
Yeah.
Everybody says 3 days is kind of sort of okay.
Yeah.
Once again, check before you do that, but 3 days is okay. After 3, you need medical supervision. And what happens is if you happen to start vomiting, you can die. Also, willpower is a real issue. I will, even though I tend to be fairly good with my resolve, I will have all food taken out of my house, all of it, nothing. So I can't, drink 3 ounces of vanilla, all of it gone. Because if, and this is really frightening, if like 9 or 10 days in, you decide I can't stand this anymore, and you run to McDonald's, you will end up in the emergency room.
Yeah.
You have to refeed for about half the time that you've had your fast. So if I do a 2-week fast, I will spend a week refeeding. And don't we love the word refeeding?
Yes.
Not even a word, they just make it up. And I will do, it's like watermelon juice for 2 days. 2 days you have 2 glasses of watermelon juice. Almost seems like you're still fasting to me.
And even if you drink that too fast, it can go bad.
Yeah, if you drink it too fast, you can get sick.
Yeah.
So you have to slowly sip watermelon juice. And then you go to very simple vegetables. But, before you get to beans and rice, which at that point is junk food, it's like 5 days before you work your way up to that. So I would like to do that. Now, I want to say you don't fast to lose weight.
No.
Because it comes right back on, but only about half of it. So I'm going to do something even crazier because I can't do things just crazy enough. I'm going to go on a very strict diet before my fast because I want to lose weight before my fast, which is a lot like cleaning before the cleaning people come.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that everything's in order. So if you want to see a show where Teller's third and fourth and fifth vertebrae are still not connected to one another, and Penn is really wicked hungry, you want to be in the show July 9th.
Yeah.
If you want to see a show also where Penn has been refeeding watermelon juice and is weak and crazy, and Teller has the fourth and fifth vertebrae fused, you want to see the show August 18th. Some people want to see both of those. Also on August 18th, I think the chances that Teller and I remember any of the show are almost zero.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
How many things will just be out of you, not in your brain for that long?
Yeah, I've never taken that long off from doing the show. I do know that after a week, I'm a little iffy.
Yeah.
So after 5 weeks and no food, I may be out of my mind.
Yeah.
Now, I also want to say this is important. Clapper suggests that when you're doing a fast from food, you also do a fast from news and social media. So I'm going to do that. You know, I read the paper every day carefully. I will not be reading the paper during that time. And also,
A question from the chat is, will we be airing bank episodes during that time?
I've been thinking about that, and I'm going to decide.
Question's not from the chat, it's from me.
I think I will probably, since Clapper is going to be coming out to prep me and get ready,
Yeah.
we'll probably do an episode with Clapper.
Oh, fun.
Maybe the Sunday before I start my fast.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking that if we can convince Reddy and convince y'all
Yeah.
to come out to my house, because I probably won't want to travel,
Yeah.
we might be able to do a few Sunday schools while I'm fasting,
That is what I was hoping, but I didn't know if that was bad
which
news
I
for
think would be
Clapper.
really, really fun.
Yeah.
Clapper will probably be against it. But what I would also be is I think because I will be in an altered state of mind.
And it's Dr. Clapper. We mean no disrespect. It's just really fun just to say Clapper. It's really nice to
Yes.
refer to someone as Clapper.
Yeah, the clap. I would have one of you lead it.
Okay.
So one of you guys would be in charge of the thing and kind of interviewing me. Because I
Right.
don't imagine I'd be able to keep the kind of tight regiment that people are used to. on
Then what, you
Sunday.
just march out by the minute.
Yeah, and I have my outlines for every second where I'm going to go. We want to get that, but I would like to do them during that because
I'm sure Godot would love to do that.
That'd be fun.
I also I don't know if Godot's put this together,
Yeah.
but you're talking about also the no bathing, no shower, no toothpaste, no
Yeah.
mouthwash, and heavily in ketosis.
We should probably start recording outside as we arrive.
I would think we want it in a well.
You and I should start in the driveway
Exactly.
and then go in.
Yeah, yeah. Hazmat.
a well ventilated room.
You do
Yes,
it out
say
in the
ready?
yard.
I'm not sure. I have questions.
Okay, ask.
I don't know that if I could be open.
Go ahead.
Is there still an element of meditation along with this?
Yes, I was going to get to that right now. I am planning on trying to play my bass every day while I'm fasting because I do not want to lose the calluses on my fingers. When I start playing bass again, I will bleed. I don't want to do that. I also am thinking about working on a book I've been working on. Clapper says that some of that ambition will go away.
Right.
I also intend to do reading and also watch movies. And some friends have said, which is crazy, that they would come out and visit me during this. I asked Clapper about getting my soul psychedelicized because Sam Harris and Michael Pollan both say that what's done with LSD and meditation can also be done with fasting. And we know that every major, that's not true. Many major religions and many major people who are on a spiritual journey use fasting as some of that. Whether it's Jesus or whether it's Buddha, that's part of the lore. Clapper says there is a profound change in people at day 14. So I will be in a very awkward situation because 84% of the people in my situation in 7 to 14 days have their blood pressure return to perfect, which means I could stop then. But I'm not going to get any of the soul being psychedelicized until 14 days. And Clapper says people to 14 days to 3 weeks, I guess 14 to 21 to put it in the right same term, have a marked change in personality. Okay? So I will, at week 2, I will have not bathed, not eaten, not shaved, not read any news or any social media. So I think by 14 days, as crazy as you've seen me, I should be crazier.
Wow.
And I am
This is a good idea.
good. Exactly. You're the only one who said that. No, Clapper thinks it's a great idea. Although Clapper, who is a medical doctor,
Yeah.
who is an expert on this, wrote me this long, very, very serious, dry note that I need to send to my doctor to get all the battery of tests I have to take, which is a lot. I can't go into the fast without this huge number of tests. And then at the end of it, where you normally go, sincerely, your seriously trained doctor,
Yeah.
he put at the end, I admire your warrior spirit,
Whoa.
which means you're getting in bed with a nut.
Yes.
Because Teller, this great doctor he has in Vegas,
Yeah.
did no admiring of his warrior spirit.
No. I'm about to fuse your vertebrae. I admire your warrior spirit.
I think that's what a nut says.
Yeah.
So I am going to do this probably with a nut,
Okay.
and I'm excited about that.
I think it's fascinating. I love I like all of this talk. I know it's all crazy talk, but I like it a lot.
To give you an idea what you go through, there's some interesting facts about fasting. 80% of the energy used in your body is used in digestion.
We recorded last week with Furman, and you kind of hear me exacerbated with the idea of talking about oil and dressings and things like that.
Yeah.
It was the combination of listening to him talk and having watched Clapper's lecture that I was like, man, that lets you know that there's just no cheating on stuff. I think you bargain with diets so often with if I take my eating down this way, or if I do this for this many days, if I take my weight down to this amount. And when you realize the equation of most of your energy goes to digesting the food you put in your system, you realize that there's no short-term anything that sets your health straight.
No, it's all long term.
And it was really daunting to process those things.
And I am up 20 pounds from where I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
And 30 pounds from where Gray Ray wants me.
Right.
It's probably the cake minder. I shouldn't have given you that.
So I'm going to try to get down 10 before I start the fast. And then I will probably go down 20 or 25 pounds during the fast. And then I will pop back on 10 right away. So that'll still get me around where I want to be. And there's a lot of changes going on as my soul becomes psychedelicized. I really am looking to have a profound experience during this. The first 3 days of a fast, you experience something very surprising. Hunger.
Yeah.
You're wicked hungry for 3 days of a fast. Then the hunger goes away. And then you get about a week of usually elation and a huge amount of energy, where one of the things people are trying to do is to stop you from running around. You can take walks, do stuff like that. Then you go into a period where everything just slows down and is easy, and that's when you get revelations. I also just heard on Ezra Klein's podcast, this woman who I'd like to maybe have on our show, although it's very, very, very threatening to us. She is, I forget her name, but she wrote a book called Why Do We Love Dogs, Eat Pigs, and Wear Cows? And since my soul has been partially psychedelicized from my diet changing, and since I no longer have to rationalize eating meat, the vegan arguments from an ethical point of view are starting to find compelling.
Yeah.
The Noah Harari books with, what's it called? Homo Deus and Sapiens. 70 billion animals suffering and being killed a year.
Melanie Joy.
She gave one of the best, most measured podcasts ever. She was not strident and PETA-like, and she also did not give she took no prisoners.
Yeah.
She was just honest and wicked smart and fabulous. And they made the point, which is pretty amazing, that nobody feels good about the way animals are treated with factory farming.
Right.
And if you treated a dog in front of people the way any animals are treated in factory farming, you would go to jail.
Right.
And no one argues that pigs are dumber than dogs
No.
or suffer less. And I'm just thinking that maybe at the end of this fast, I become a vegan who, even on rare and appropriate, stays vegan.
Right.
Now, part of this was the moral soul searching that Melanie Joy started. And part of it was a really wicked good vegan grilled cheese that I had in LA. Because she also says that vegetarian, the way egg-laying chickens are treated and the way cows are treated are awful. That they're slaughtered at the end anyway. And they're taking the calves away from milk cows. Now, this obviously, I am not in any way, nor does she, make the argument that the suffering of animals is even able to be compared to the suffering of human beings. And anybody who does that PETA thing where they compare human suffering to animal suffering is repulsive. I want nothing to do with them. But we do not need to say the suffering is the same as a human being to say that there's suffering there.
Right.
And that's the argument that I find so compelling. We're not saying, oh, this cow, that there, you don't want to use the words, words like, slavery or Holocaust or any of those horrible words, because those are saved for humans, and that is a whole different thing, entirely different thing. But you don't have to do that comparison to say maybe there's suffering that I'm part of that I don't need to be.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's where I am now. Also, that grilled cheese was really good. So
Do you think that will go to clothing for you?
And will you take us for grilled cheese?
Yes.
Two very different concerns, but please address them both.
I don't know if it'll go to clothing for me, although right now there's leather in my shoes, I guess. I don't know. There's sneakers.
Might be all plastic.
Might be all plastic. So I believe all we're talking about is my belt.
Yeah, probably.
And my belt buckle has sentimental value, but the belt itself does not. So I bet there's some sort of vegan belt I can get.
Yeah, I've never been passionate or nor prone, about animal products and clothing. I don't think I've ever liked a particular animal product clothing item. That I was like, no way, not without my jacket. But I've also never put that much effort into it. Where someone might point out something and be like, oh yeah, oops, I guess I do have that there.
Yeah. I think that there might be big changes in Penn during this 5-week break, and I'm looking very, very forward to it. Now, Ready Rich, you have talked about joining me in this,
Yes.
and there is a lot of trepidation from the doctors in that they might not want the responsibility of two people doing this. So we have to talk about this off the air. I would love a partner in this voyage, but maybe you can do some of it or something like that, because you have.
My only hesitation was I don't really care about the meditation part of it at all.
Yeah, so you just want to fix yourself.
Yeah.
Physically, yeah. So that might be fine. Might be great.
And I'd kind of, the way we'd only talked about it very loosely in the past, and it felt like there would be no reading or doing anything, just entirely in your head the entire time.
No.
And I see that's not that way now.
I'm not going to do that. I toyed with the idea of a silent retreat for this, which would be no reading and no contact with anybody. But, it's kind of like I don't think I want to pile up too many things at once.
Right.
And I also know that silent retreats are incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Incredibly hard. And when you think about them, they seem really easy. Mm-hmm. But when you actually do them, I've read some people's reports on them, and they seem to be really, really intense.
Yeah.
I might also do a video journal on this, and have someone come in and shoot me every day talking about this, which might be fun.
Yeah.
And that might fold into this particular situation. But I'm excited about this, and Teller and I, it's really, really weird because Teller does not like his private stuff talked about, medical stuff. He does not like that at all. But we are very aware of the fact that if Penn and Teller stop doing the show for 5 weeks, the rumors
People would fill in their own blanks.
will be worse. And I think there's no doubt that one of the rumors would be that we weren't working together, that we'd had some sort of enormous
falling
fight,
out or something.
and there wasn't going to be a Penn and Teller coming back, like Maryland. That the hiatus was not a real hiatus.
Yeah.
But this really is a real hiatus.
Yeah.
And I will tell those people who will worry about Teller that no one's worrying about Teller more than me, and all the research says that this is never life-threatening, and is an operation that is very, very successful, and that the doctor that'll be doing it has done it thousands of times, this exact operation.
Yeah.
And on top of that, when I was in Houston, I got to do heart surgery, and it didn't seem that hard. There's a doctor in
Who lets people come by and do heart surgery?
Yeah.
Okay.
he was a big crybaby about it. Dr. Randy Wolf is a doctor in Houston, Texas, who is also a magician. He has the Find a Lady illusion, the original one. He's got all sorts of cool stuff. And he also has developed a kind of operation called the Wolf Maze, which is also an Indian ritual. I guess I should have said Native American ritual. I did the Einstein joke right, so I'm okay. And what he does is he's able to fix arrhythmia in the heart with a electrical shock that's put in behind there. So he goes in kind of under the armpit, collapses the lung, and then works on the heart. They put a camera in there, and he has little pincer sticks.
Yeah.
And he does work on the heart in there. And then he goes in the other side, does the other side of the heart. He's behind the heart, going in like under your armpit. And there's a hole about the size of a $50, and then a couple other smaller holes he's doing everything through. There's
Wow. Can't do it laparoscopically.
yeah. Now when you do operations, you now have a videographer. There's a guy running the camera, telling you where to look and
I
stuff.
started to work for Tarantino. Now I just do heart operations. But,
And I had to like scrub up and stuff.
yeah.
I mean, I didn't have to scrub up. I just did.
Want me to scrub up? No, it's okay. I'm going to scrub up.
I had the mask. And by mask, you probably think of one of those blue kind of. No, I wore a whole Batman outfit. No, they wanted a mask. I gave them a cowl. No, I was wearing the blue mask.
Okay.
And I had blue scrubs, very sexy.
Yeah.
I looked very sexy in there. And I was in there watching. Now, they didn't let me just because the guy had to give permission for me to be in there.
Yeah.
And I want to say, if the guy happens to listen to this, that I didn't monkey around. I didn't spit in the hole or anything like that. Although, who would even think of that? Nobody. Nobody that wouldn't even cross anyone's mind.
Yeah.
That's a thought no one ever had. But I did peek in his hole. I did look inside his body.
Peak.
I peeked in his hole.
And peak. There's a key at the end.
And also, he said, "Here comes the fun part." And he was right. When he finishes it, he blows up the lung.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Man, does that look good. Wow. And you're in there when he's counting ribs. Here's the nutty thing. They put the camera in a little hole, and then he drills out a big hole. And you can see from the camera on the inside, you're in this cavern, okay? This flesh cavern.
Right.
I used to date her. This flesh cavern. And you can see the ribs, and you can see him poking above. You see the doink, doink,
The
doink
roof
coming
kind
in
of-
on the roof. And then you see as he pushes through.
Oh.
It's pretty great. And I was over there with the anesthesiologist. She was watching everything carefully, and I was just standing there. I was very well behaved. I didn't say anything goofy or stupid. That's good. Means I didn't say anything. Is what I mean.
Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Remember, there were videographers.
Yeah. And then I went over and looked. And then I was also, which was kind of wonderful, I went with the doctor to the family to tell them that everything went perfectly. Which is, boy, that's a great trip. Now, if you're a real doctor, you've got to sometimes do the other trip.
Right.
You wouldn't want to do that one.
No.
But the happy trip is a good trip.
And you don't want to bring a magician on the bad one, too. That would make it really awful. Things haven't gone well. But Penn has this card trick.
So it's not a complete loss. And the guy, they do it with no opiates now,
Right.
which is amazing. The guy's up and eating breakfast the next day. and it's pretty great thing, and it was wonderful, and gave me an idea for a magic trick that I'll be talking to Dr. Wolf soon.
Oh, neat.
Because here's the magic trick I want to do. I want to talk about seeing this operation, and then I want to do, the Bill of the Lemon trick? We all
Yeah,
know the
sure,
Bill of the
sure.
Lemon trick, where Bill with the serial number vanishes, and then reappears inside a lemon. And the lemon has to be very carefully separated from everything, or it's not a good trick, right? I mean, when Carbonaro does it, it's on one side of the stage.
Right.
Other people have someone hold it in the audience. But I thought, if I put a lemon inside a watermelon, okay? Put it inside a watermelon and glued it up. And then for my magic trick, borrowed a bill from the audience, right? Did a torn corner or a serial number, one of those things, vanished it, boom, or burned it or something. And then I drilled a little hole in the watermelon and went in,
With the laparoscope, yeah.
not with the laparoscope yet.
All right.
First, I would drill 2 holes in the watermelon and do what he did with the lungs, which is, instead of collapsing the lungs, I would blow all the
Juice.
juice and pulp out of the watermelon out of a hole. So you get this huge spray of watermelon hole. This is a very, very dignified Gallagher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I would have this open cavern that was all pink on the inside with a lemon sticking in the bottom. And I would say, that is our tumor. And I would then put in the laparoscopic camera with the light and everything so you could see the lemon there, and then take the scalpel and the tongs and all those things and go in and cut open.
Have open lemon surgery.
Open the lemon inside the watermelon, pull it apart, pull out the bill, pull it out, hand it to the guy and say, is that your bill? Isn't that a great trick?
Yes.
Great trick. And we have the big screens in our theater now.
Yeah.
So you could see it all on the big screen. A great trick that was inspired by heart surgery. So I'm gonna ask the doctor. Now, I know the shit you're using in there is wicked expensive,
Right.
but you can't use it more than once, right? So can I have like an old heart surgery equipment?
Can I get last year's model?
Yeah, that I
Yeah.
can use on my watermelon. Because who cares if the scalpel's dirty, right?
Yeah.
And then you can just clean off little peel. I don't know what that is on there. But isn't that? Is this all? This is a good
That's a
idea.
good idea.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, that's what I'm. So when you say that
And you're making a mess.
in the show, yeah, I think blowing out the watermelon would be pretty great.
Yeah.
Because you ever blown an egg?
Yeah.
No.
You never blown an egg?
No.
You should do it. You're getting older.
I didn't need a job
You're
enough. Yeah.
closed-minded.
You have kids.
But
If
you
he's
put
hiring, I
you
suppose.
put 2 holes in an egg and you blow it out.
Yeah.
But I think that blowing out a watermelon would be pretty great.
It's going to be interesting.
What do you mean by interesting, Guido?
Well, the flesh inside the watermelon is stuck in place. You could put some kind of mixer in there to break it out.
Vanilla.
Not an alcohol mixer, no. I'm talking about a spinning mixer, a blade of some sort.
Yeah, well, probably something. But also, I don't know how powerful my gas can be.
Right.
If I have CO2 under a lot of pressure, you might
At what
be
point
able-
does the watermelon explode? Yeah.
Exactly. We don't know. There'll be fun experiments,
Yeah.
like we do usually those fun experiments at the Penn and Teller office.
Yeah, let us know when
Yeah,
we're doing
I was
that.
gonna say,
Let us
I
know
wa-
we're
I
doing
wanna-
that. We'll come in for that.
I know it's usually
I
just
think
Piff and
that-
Johnny and stuff.
I think you would have a wonderful image from the inside of this lit up watermelon and doing the whole thing. And I think you have enough. Well, you have enough provers that people would know you were doing it live
Yeah,
and hadn't gone to video. Also, going to video doesn't help you do the trick at all. Because you're. But I also think when you cut open a lemon that has a bill inside it, that moment when you cut around it and separate it is a really beautiful moment. Seeing that done with a scalpel remotely might be pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
Seeing me do that, and I would also, of course, because I care about the fashion, I would also wear the mask. And I'm also thinking that the stuff.
So it could be a switch as well.
Yeah. What a great idea. I also think when you blow out the watermelon, you got still good watermelon, probably.
Yeah, probably a lot of watermelon juice that you could use on a fast.
You get out of the fast. I could do
Good
this.
time to practice.
So I'm going to talk to Dr. Wolf soon.
You'll get people coming out of their fast and you just blowing watermelon juice all over the ground and them just weeping. How delicious that would be if it wasn't on the floor.
So
You should do a lime because watermelons and limes are really good together.
Oh, that's true. Lime juice on a watermelon is
It's
really,
really good, yeah.
And also a little bit of cayenne.
There we go.
So we could blow out all the stuff and hand
And
it
then
out.
serve the drinks after.
This is my body you drink. This could start a whole religion. I might get it very, very clear during my fast. All might become. Are you going to come visit me, BJ?
Of course I will.
Yeah. During the fast, you want to see what that's like?
Just to laugh at you.
Yeah.
I'm definitely coming to visit. I was so curious about this. Literally, the day that you talked about possibly doing this was a day that we got successfully funded to go out in the middle of July to do a gig, and I was so mad.
Yeah.
I've never been more mad to get money to do a gig in my life.
I got state fairs all during that time, too. So.
Okay. Now, Godot, you were in Hawaii?
I was in
You
Hawaii.
never reported back on that.
It's because we've been doing other shows since then.
Go ahead.
But it was fantastic. It was a fantastic trip. Went to Maui.
But you were there where there was liquid rock.
Yeah, we went to Maui first and hung out there for a while, and then went over to the Big Island.
Did you say, when you left here today, gone to Maui?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Good. That's all I care about.
That's all we care about. Yeah.
You know I don't like Hawaii.
I know you don't, but you
Oh,
were
let me do this.
so
I should
wrong.
talk about
All right,
this.
let's
I
do
should-
that first.
If you like this podcast, why wouldn't you? Check out Reasonable Doubt every Saturday at Podcast One. World-renowned criminal defense lawyer Mark
Giragos?
Giragos reveals the latest in our nation's most high-profile legal cases with podcast king Adam Carolla. We know podcast king Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
And examines how changes in the legal system affect you. Check out Reasonable Doubt at Podcast One and Apple Podcasts. And remember to rate and review. And you know something? Our old friends here, we love them. You heard about my Sleep Number bed, how much it's improved my sleep? Now Sleep Number has done it again. Another great invention. They had the invention of having different sides of the bed have different firmness, which is very, very useful. Now they've got temperature changes.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you're someone who struggles to sleep at a comfortable temperature, the all-new dual temp individual layer is the innovation you've been waiting for. Cooler or warmer, you decide. Just add the dual temp layer to either side of the bed and sleep up to 35% cooler or warmer than your partner. That's pretty great. The dual temp layer, because on showers, my wife and I do not agree at all.
Right.
Wow.
She wants a much cooler shower than I do. I want a hot shower with my steam room running. I like it to be suffocating. I like it to be. Do you like a hot shower?
I do.
Yeah. How about you, Matt?
I like a warm shower.
Yeah. No.
It's got to be hot.
The dual temp layer can be added to any mattress brand. Doesn't have to be a Sleep Number bed. That's important.
I never realized how much I disagree with you on showering stuff, but it really keeps coming up.
It does. We have, I think that our dream of showering together every day
It's
would
over.
probably be a nightmare. Select from multiple temperature levels at the touch of a button. My Sleep Number settings still going down, and still, of course, you can get Sleep IQ. Sleep IQ. That's Sleep IQ. Sleep IQ. That's Sleep IQ. Sleep IQ. That's Sleep IQ. Sleep IQ. Finally, the blissful cooling comfort you deserve at a comfortable price. Come in and feel the temperature difference for yourself. You'll only find the dual temp layer at sleepnumber.com or any of the 550 Sleep Number stores nationwide. Visit sleepnumber.com/
Ben.
sleepnumber.com/
Penn!
to find the store nearest you. And I will still be sleeping on my Sleep Number bed when I am fasting. Now, what else did you find in Hawaii?
You know what? You don't like Hawaii, but for me, Hawaii is really animal interactive. We are the first day we get there. We're literally in the drive-through line at McDonald's, so my family can get drinks. And there is a cattle egret walking on the hedge next to us, and we're watching. It's just a foot away. This beautiful, white, tall, skinny bird, and it.
Now, you can name birds when you see them, can't you?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
There's Fred.
This is a cattle egret, and it turns out cattle egrets eat lizards. And while we're a foot away from it, it grabs a lizard out of the hedge and tosses it up in the air and swallows him whole. It's
Wow.
beautiful. It was so great.
Not for the lizard.
Not for the lizard. No, the lizard seemed very unhappy. He was doing, how lizards do that, pushing out their neck with the coin thing, display of anger.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing that while he was being eaten.
You were able to see all that?
We were really close. That was amazing. It was like a nature documentary. We were
How long does it take him to throw it in the air and catch it?
just a few seconds.
And you were able to see during that time?
Yeah, we were just right up next to him. He was standing right outside the car window.
And then
the whole group, we said, hey, look at that cattle egret. What's he doing? Oh, he's got a lizard. He's got a lizard. Ah, my God. Great moment. And then the next day, you're not, we're out body surfing in the ocean, and a sea turtle runs into the back of me. Just, you're not supposed to touch them in the wild. You're not allowed to approach them. But if they approach you, it's a different story. I got knocked down by a sea turtle, which I thought was great.
That sounds scary.
Now, is
Doesn't
that
sound
just
great
the
at all.
excuse you use for your bruises to your wife?
No,
Or that
no.
actually happened?
And then
Rough trade sea turtle.
we crossed over to the Big Island and went to the volcano.
Well, you can't go to the volcano. That's not a tourist trap.
It's not a tourist
He
trap.
literally texted me while he was away, and I jokingly said, well, I hope you're not going toward the volcano. And as soon as I hit send, I was like, I bet you he is.
I went straight to the volcano.
This is liquid rock.
Yes, magma shooting 400 feet
Make
into the air.
America great again. Magma. Yeah.
Well, the park is closed. You can't get near it on foot legally. You can get tickets for it, but
What?
you'll get ticketed if you're
you
caught
get
inside the park.
I thought you meant
So I
like
didn't
you can
go.
buy
I
a scalper's ticket.
I didn't get scalper
Want to melt yourself? Here, $60 over here.
Let's see
You got two, got two,
Springsteen
got
on the
two.
Big Island.
They're still running boat tours around on the ocean to watch lava.
Watch the hydrochloric acid go into the air.
Exactly, all of that,
Burn your
all
lungs.
the burning stuff. And so we took a volcano boat around, really rough ride through the ocean. Boom, for like 2 hours of bouncing through the ocean.
Did your family like it?
My wife did not go, but my children did, and they loved it. We had a great time.
And you saw a volcano spewing out liquid rock?
Yes, liquid rock shooting
Did you-
400 feet into the air, and which is unbelievable and
How many feet?
fantastic. 400 feet, fantastic, amazing. And then you realize that the guy driving your boat is crying because his house is burning. His house is one of the ones that's on fire as we drive by it on the boat. Just
That's awkward.
horrifying.
That is the-
horrifying.
But this is the sickest thing I've ever heard, Godot. Why would you want to be on a boat with a guy whose house was on fire?
Well, that's his job, is driving this boat.
And crying.
Well,
you're
this
enjoying
day, but that's what I'm saying. The joy of it is really horribly tempered by the fact that you get there and we were watching homes burn while we sit on the boat.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and
There
these
haven't
guys,
been many deaths, have there?
no, very, very. It's not fast moving. I mean, it is.
Well, down in Texas,
It's
the
not
lava was
unemployed.
moving 200 miles an hour.
Down in Texas,
In Texas, where was it?
Guatemala.
Bolivia, Guatemala.
Guatemala.
I said Texas.
No, it wasn't lava. That's the pyroclastic flow, which is ash and smoke and water and some lava running down the mountain very, very fast. That's
200
not
miles
what's
an hour.
going on
Okay.
in
How
Hawaii.
fast is the lava moving?
Well, the lava's moving 2 miles an hour.
How close?
Not very fast.
How close did you get to the lava?
The boat pulls right up to the lava. It's really
Did you
close.
get close enough to the lava to feel heat?
No,
Okay.
I did not. Other people claim they could. I didn't. I didn't notice the heat.
Now, is anybody cooking in the lava?
I know that Scotty was there for lava pork. I didn't get the lava pork
Oh, they do.
experience.
They do lava.
They
pork?
do
How
cooking.
do they do that?
They just wrap it up in something and set it on top of the lava because lava's, obviously really, really hot. So, I mean, I didn't get to do that. So I
All
didn't
this
see
sounds like crazy to me.
lava. It is crazy. It's crazy to be seeing lava because, you've seen it so much as a kid on TV and stuff, and then just go, wow, I'm really seeing lava. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
And are
But
there,
obviously tempered by this. And we,
are there other sick fuckers like you who go there on purpose to see this stuff?
yeah, there were people that, there were 2 boats running out 3 or 4 times a day. So,
And how long is the lava tour?
well, it's a couple hours each way on the boat,
And the guy
and then
has
they're there for an hour.
guy's a microphone.
He has a microphone. And he's
If
talking
you
about
look to the starboard side of the boat, you'll see my house on fire.
it. yeah, and in fact,
memories.
during our trip, our boat actually pulled around into a tiny harbor, and we saved a guy. There was a guy, an orchid farmer, who had been there raising orchids for however long he'd been there. I don't know how long. And he had called on the radio asking for someone to help him evacuate. And we pulled up, and he hopped on the boat with he had 2 dogs and a few orchids that he had been breeding for the last 10 years that was trying to save his orchids and his dogs. So part of our tour was actually this rescue of this guy.
And he walked away from everything else at his house.
The rest of his house is gone. he had 10 acres of orchid farm that have all just now burned.
But he must have emptied out stuff before that.
I think that most people did. I think that it's not a surprise. It starts up, and you say, "Wow, my neighborhood could be burned down. I should pack up and move my stuff." But I still think there's some people who, if I had a house there, I think I would wait until I saw it on fire. I mean, I would take stuff out, but I don't think I would abandon the house until I went, okay, well now it's burning, so I can leave. But yeah, pretty horrifying.
And then you went to the octopus farm.
Then I went to the octopus farm, which we talked about.
And he sat in the blue chairs.
Kanaloa octopus farm.
That was the funniest text you've ever sent.
Yeah.
That was such a surprise. That was very funny.
It was great to be there. And sadly, the owner, Jake, wasn't there that day. But one of his assistants took us on a tour, and we played with octopuses and saw their process and visited. The whole thing is a great experimental park. For a while, they were generating electricity by the differences in water temperature. So they're pumping water up from 3,000 feet down in the ocean, and they're bringing surface water in, and that difference can be used to generate electricity. But the electrical plant has closed. It wasn't as efficient as they thought it would, but they still have these pipes. And so there are companies there that are using this water from 3,000 feet down because it's cold and because it's nutrient rich. And so there are people raising different types of plankton. And
Why would you do like a server farm there? Keep everything cool.
Probably that's another good thing that they could do there.
See, I get better ideas than Cake Minder.
I think that's a significantly
my idea
better
was,
idea.
which I thought was really great, was, well, if you're pumping up water from 3,000 feet down, it's cold. The condensation is going to generate. You're going to pull the humidity out of the air.
Oh, yeah.
And you can generate clean water that way. And they said, oh yeah, that's what the strawberry farm next door does.
There you go.
Okay, all right, I'm too late on that one. But it was
I would
beautiful.
never thought of that thought have crossed your mind?
What?
To create farm water for your farm by pumping out ocean water from
As
below?
soon as I saw the condensation there, I go, whoa, this is water.
This is clean. This is clean
End of
water.
thought. Yeah. Yeah, full stop.
Yeah, it's water. So Joey's doing well.
Joey's doing great. His job, he's working at Sequest as a volunteer and having a great time. And
Wait, I need to know, after the lava tour and the octopus tour, is there a quicksand tour to play the 60s television?
there were Nautilus submarines. I didn't do it.
Quicksand. There's no such thing as quicksand, right?
Yeah, there is.
Kind
But
of
not
is.
really. Not like it was on
Not
TV.
like on TV.
It didn't look like that, no.
Not like on Gilligan's Island, right?
Right.
Like the more you move, the more you sink, so you have to stay still.
Yeah.
It's a mud
Yeah.
puddle. It's a mud puddle without a deep mud puddle. Is what
Okay.
they are. And you can float and swim out.
Okay.
For all I care.
All I care.
With exfoliated skin.
Joey loves the new job. He came home yesterday and said, I love everybody at Sequest. I love Sequest so much. And
Where is Sequest?
it's at the Boulevard Mall.
Okay.
So they've just taken part of the mall and turned it into this aquarium.
Okay.
And they have animals as well. He helps people visit Capybara, which we talked about, I guess.
Giant rats.
Giant rats, yeah. Yeah. And yesterday they gave Joey a radio in case they needed to call him. or something.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
No, the first thing he did when he got to his station with the radio was say, radio, repeat, I have a radio. I said, they're probably not going to get a radio again, buddy.
When we first got to Vegas, we were doing the world's largest card trick.
Yeah.
Where we shuffled giant cards with forklifts. And I had to do an entrance. Actually, it was Georgie when I first met Georgie. She was a showgirl on that. And I had to make an entrance. And to give me the cue to come into the TV show, they had to give me a walkie-talkie. And I picked up the walkie-talkie and, because of Die Hard, said, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. And I had to go through this whole reprimanded thing that I shouldn't use. You can't use that language over the radio. I went, English? I don't know how to say yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker in Swahili.
I think it's just yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Oh, it's not? It's yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker?
Yeah, I think so.
Not yippee-ki-yay?
I don't think so.
That's why they corrected me.
That's how they're like,
Yeah,
if
they're
you're going to quote
talking
Die
about
Hard, get it
language.
right.
We didn't talk about the language.
And what's going on in your life there, Matt? Maryland closed.
Maryland closed, which is good news for my household to get certain people out of our
Maryland
lives.
was a musical here
Yeah.
in town based on the life of Marilyn Monroe, who, by the way, not one person I have met personally gives a fuck about.
And can you imagine your children caring a fuck about? Because that's who the customers are now, right?
No, I don't think for this show. But yeah.
Yeah.
They will be. And the thing is that I knew Norman Mailer.
Right.
And Norman Mailer did give a fuck about Marilyn Monroe.
Right.
But nobody else. And the idea of trying to make her, there's this line by Elvis Costello, they're making heroes out of fall guys. They say it's good for business. Trying to pretend she's an empowered human being seems insane.
Right.
She's a pill junkie who killed herself.
Yeah.
And she was, to some people, sexy. Although everything Marilyn Monroe has that's sexy does not work for me. I mean, breasts, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, I mean, any of the personality traits don't work for me at all. I don't even like the way she looks that much.
Right. Yeah.
And people are forgetting, as we said, who Elvis is. So the Marilyn thing. And this same gentleman
Yeah.
who wanted to do Marilyn also had in the pipeline James Dean
Yep.
and Betty Page.
Yeah.
Two other people that nobody gives a fuck.
He's a big thinker. He's coming up with show ideas quick, isn't he?
It's also important to remember that Cirque du Soleil, who has all the money in the world, failed with Elvis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah. All the money in the world. And he didn't have the money to get through the first week.
No. That's a tough outing.
And this is the problem to me with Broadway shows.
Yeah.
With the exception, and it's not a big exception really, of Hamilton and Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Even those a little bit, the people that perform in them are so much more talented than the material.
Yeah.
So these people on stage singing and dancing their hearts out and acting their asses off.
Yeah.
And then the material is, who cares?
Yeah.
And to
Saying,
try to make a narrative out of Marilyn Monroe's life, wow, she was an orphan, she got really successful, she killed herself on pills. Good night, everybody. Hey, look it's only 8:03. We got time to go to another show.
If only you had sang all those words, we would be done.
Yeah,
but now because of the musical, I know she also was late to stuff.
yeah.
Which is I didn't know going in how late she was.
To things. She showed up late.
But she showed up late to things, which is something that was a big takeaway for me.
And they did not really know.
Wow, I did not know that.
There's a whole song
I bet
about
that'd be a great song.
it. It is. There's a whole song about it. She's late. And then it pays off at the end when she's late to something. It's like, oh, I knew it.
Yeah, she'd be late. And, her husband didn't have the right accents and all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
But your wife was in it.
She was
And your wife appeared on stage how many times?
0.
0.
Yeah.
She was the swing.
She was, yeah. And once turns out when you're only going to do 23 shows, not a lot of understudies neted for those for that run. So, nor rehearsals needed to put someone and prepare that for
Right.
it.
Did you cash the checks at the casino?
Well, the last checks didn't come from the production company. The last checks have come from equity because you have to pay a bond to open up an equity production. And thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
So we've been paid out from equity.
Can't stop me. I'm sticking with the union. I'm sticking with you. We'll go all Woody Guthrie on your ass now.
Yeah.
And you also are doing Pork Fest?
Yeah, so it's the Porcupine Festival up in New Hampshire. And they came-
PORC.
Yeah, PORC, Pork
Porcupine.
Fest. Porcupine
Pork-
Because
Fest.
the porcupine,
Yeah.
porcupine is the symbol of don't tread on me.
Okay.
Don't mess with me. Libertarians use the porcupine as a symbol because if you attack them, they will protect themselves, but they want nothing else to do it in terms of aggression.
And then, so I...
What do you know about porcupines, Guido?
A lot.
Tell us something.
Go ahead, lay it down.
In Louisiana, we actually used porcupine quills as bobbers when fishing.
Oh,
'cause
wow.
They float. And you could tie the line kind of a little off-centered, and they would stand up when the fish bit.
Look at that. You knew it. You knew it had it, and he did.
And you say there's no God? There's no way. There's no way that develops an evolution.
I know.
Only God could know the porcupine quills would float and make a bobber. So what are you going to do at Pork Fest?
So, well, I suppose they wanted you and couldn't afford you. That's the way I think that goes.
They wanted me, could afford me, couldn't find the time.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Although now that I'll be meditating and starving.
You can probably go.
By the way, at the end of the fast, I
Yeah.
will look very, very different. It takes a couple, 3 weeks, even a few months before your face comes back and you look like yourself.
Oh, wow.
Cool. I'll be looking
Because
like
your
another
face
person.
walks out.
That's exciting.
I'm not. If I don't have anything but water, I'm leaving.
I'm gonna. Face goes. If you need me, I'll be in the cake minder.
So they asked Godot and I to come, and Godot wasn't available because of he was booked. So that left little old me. And I said, I'm doing a magic act now. I'd love to do a magic show. And they said, great. Could you do a lecture and a magic show? And I said, about that lecture. I don't
Remember,
have one.
when I do a lecture, I follow a Nobel Prize winner and the guy who did the human, And the CEO said to me as I was going on, I'm sitting in the back of the auditorium.
Yeah.
CEO says to me, I'm so eager to find out what you're going to talk about. And I said, me too. And he said, you don't have a talk you give? I said, nope. He said, you were just walking on stage. I said, yep. An hour later, I walked off stage.
And I said, I suppose you're really curious about Penn. So if you want to do like a Q&A about podcasting and podcasting with Penn, I'll do one of those. And they said, great. And then I saw a poster hit social media. It says, Matt Donnelly speaking on using an entertainment platform to advance his libertarian agenda. And I was like, there we go. I'm all lined up.
Dr. Daniel Kahneman,
Yeah.
who is one of the greatest people in the world.
Yeah.
I didn't get to meet him.
Yeah.
Our paths didn't cross. But the guy who booked him said, he's 85 years old.
Yeah.
But here's what he said. Remember this.
Yeah.
He said, I don't do lectures, but I will sit with you on stage and answer any question you ask me. But I expect you to be familiar with everything I've written. which scared the chairman of the board tremendously. But he said it was fabulous.
So I'll be doing that, my lecture, not my Q&A, Thursday morning, and then my magic show Friday
Thursday,
night.
when
This
is
is
it?
Pork Fest is June 20th through the 24th.
Oh, look at that. I'll be in Santa Cruz. So if you're whichever coast you're on,
Exactly, yeah.
you can see. I'll be at the Santa Cruz Beach and Boardwalk.
Well, that's where you met Metallica, Judas Priest.
Yeah. 6.
One of the guys came to our show,
Oh, did you?
said, say hi to Godot. He did. He really did.
Oh, no.
Yes, he did.
God, no.
He did.
They want me dead.
No, they heard. No,
They heard. So it's been cleared up by the podcast.
Yes.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yes.
Thank goodness. I was so unintentionally rude.
Oh, and somebody said after the show the other night, tell Godot he's our favorite.
That's very kind.
There you go.
There you go.
Anything
Well,
about-
I'm
anything about me?
620. I'm not so much. Huh?
No, don't answer. I assume yes.
Come on by the boardwalk Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday next week, and then the week after that as well. But
Anything else you want to say about Pork Fest?
random.
Yeah, so
Pork Fest.
I'll be doing my what it's like to work with you lecture, I guess, Thursday the 21st, and then I'll do a magic show Friday night, the 22nd at the festival.
And you do know that if that lecture goes the way I expect it to go,
Yeah.
you will no longer be working with me. Or you're not going to tell the truth.
Well, also, I'm actually more hoping that Penn Sunday School listeners who are libertarian don't make sure that I don't give this lecture. Don't actually inform them how good I am at the title of this lecture.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, like I'm not good at that.
So you're saying someone could be listening right now.
Yeah, and be like,
You notice
the last person to speak about anything libertarian is Matt Donnelly. That's what I think is.
you do notice that my discussion
Yeah.
of the incompetence of my lecture
Yeah.
was discussed after the check cleared.
See, I just keep learning.
Yeah,
That's what I do. I keep learning from you, and I keep learning from you.
It's a teaching opportunity.
That's what you'll be able to. It's part of the lecture.
Yeah.
He teaches me all the time.
Yeah.
And you are working for the CIA now?
yeah. You had told me, what's your favorite rumor about you? I remember asking you on air, and you said that people think that you're black ops, that you work for the CIA.
Yeah.
And
And I love what they say. I did 3 seasons of Fool Us that were all true to lull people into believing me so I could then do the 9/11 conspiracy.
So I posted some video.
You're in deep.
This was back in March, but I never talked to you about it. But I posted some video about you making a joke about something, and I got different comments that were just like, haha, whatever, love Penn. And then someone else randomly just wrote, "Is this a statement about Israel, Matt?"
What was the video?
I'm trying to remember. It was back in March, so I can't even remember now. But I wrote back like, "What is up with you?" Because he'd done weird comments on me before that I was just like, "You're not watching the video. I think you're just reading a headline and misinterpreting a headline or something like that." And I said, I said, "Did you listen to the clip, or did you just post based on the title alone? Be honest." And someone said, "Yes, I think you have more knowledge about government black projects than you've ever let on that you do, and are superficially helping blend libertarian with Marxism as a Fabian-style socialist. MK Ultra, does it exist?" That's what this person wrote in response.
MK Ultra, cool. But Fabian, you mean the singer from the 60s?
I looked him online. I couldn't figure out what a Fabian-style Marxist or socialist was. A Fabian-style socialist. I couldn't even find out what it was.
Well, the stuff is still up that says I'm a CIA Zionist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look over at B.J. Kramer for Zionist. B.J. Kramer is the one who might know how far I am from Zionist. Because you've actually met Zionists, haven't you?
I briefly was one.
Were you?
I got better.
Okay. And when you were a Zionist, were you a lot like me?
I was exactly.
There you go. There you go. So there we go. What do we got coming up for gigs, guys?
You go first.
I'm going to I'm just doing Pork Fest, and then after that, there's a small possibility I might go to Edinburgh with Piff. I'm trying to figure that out, but if not, I just tour with him again in September.
Oh,
So I'm just working on new stuff here at home.
I have the next couple of weeks on and off at the Beach and Boardwalk in Santa Cruz. And then after that, I'm doing Columbus, Ohio.
They
Fair,
like you there,
and
don't they?
Sedalia, Missouri. Yeah, I got a bunch of state fairs this year.
They like you at the Santa Monica.
In Santa Cruz. Yeah,
Santa Cruz,
Yeah, and it's a great location. I'm doing shows, and there's the beach behind me. So
Taking your children with you?
no, sadly no. My children are busy. They're almost adults now, and so they have their own lives.
Yeah.
They no longer want to ride around in a car with Dad for 2 weeks. It's heartbreaking. They'll hold my hand at the mall, but they won't ride to Santa Cruz with me and hang out.
man.
My children are going to camp all summer.
Yeah.
I brought them through Guatemala and up through Mexico, and there's a camp you get to for free without your parents around. And that was Penn Sunday School.
Whoa!
What?
That was Penn Sunday.
I was excited.
Cha cha cha.
It's sudden.
To our listening
You become naked.
angels sang and round us rang the music of the sea. And was Penn Sunday.
By the way, I asked Sam Harris and a bunch of other people about, including Clapper, about a really good book that was atheist. That was Penn Sunday School. But also spiritual, about getting your soul psychedelicized through fasting. I can't find anything. That was Penn Sunday School. Everything on Amazon about fasting and opening your mind is about Jesus or finding some sort of God. If there's a non-God guide to the mental aspects of fasting, please let me know. Write to Ready Rich. I love you.
questionpenn.com.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, questionpenn@gmail.com.
Yeah, questionpenn@gmail.com. Peace. Now I got to do that stupid Jason shit, right?